go.
Alright, so we are looking for an app called EduCreations, and I think that I have it out here. Okay, it looks like this right here has this little symbol. Okay, if you are having trouble finding it, sometimes you can just go all the way to the left and start to type in edu, and then if it's an app that you already have, it'll come up first, and then sometimes if you don't have it, it'll come up in the App Store. So if we need to download it, just let me know. Most of the iPads should have it on it already, so if I need to rotate your iPad just for the like, kind of information about this, just let me know. Okay. So I want to go to that EduCreations one. You know how yours? Okay, try this one.
Yes.
Was everybody else able to find it? Yes? Okay. Okay, so it looks kind of like this. I'm gonna go out of it. Oh, so we go straight into the screen, right? Let me exit out of it for now. All right. This app you can pay for, okay, and it gives you extra like benefits and features. But there is a free version. So does yours not have it on? On this one, probably. Okay. Okay, so how this app works, and I'll get into like the sign up information. How this app works, I start a new project, and think of it, I like to explain as almost like a PowerPoint, where you kind of have pages or you have slides. Over at the very bottom left, I'm sorry, here, bottom right, there's this little arrow. Right now, there's only one page, and I'm on the first page out of one page, or the first slide out of one slide. But if I hit that arrow, it's going to make another page. Right? And then if I keep doing that, it's going to make new slides or new pages. So on your rubric that you guys have here, there is a guideline for slide 1, slide 2, slide 3. Okay, so each page, I'm looking for these things. Now, if you really feel like you need to make one of these into multiple slides, that's okay. But I wanted to have this as a guideline because sometimes students only give me 2 slides, or sometimes they give me like 50 slides, and I want to help direct you a little bit better than that. Okay. So on this rubric, you guys have to each slide do what you're asked to do. You're basically going to be almost like teaching a video lesson like you would see on Edpuzzle. Okay. I would recommend that you start out by writing like your sorry, that's the flashing thing, is it? Start out by on each of these pages, write out what you already want to have written out. You don't want to spend time writing your whole definition and then go to the next page and then write your whole definition. Okay, so I know some of you guys were in Algebra 1A with me, so you kind of already know what I'm talking about, or you have a little bit of experience.
Yeah.
So for example, the very first page, it looks like I just need my name and class and project name. Okay, so I would just put Mr. Tate. You want to get fancy or you want to do a little extra stuff, you can. Some people do all the pictures. That's just extra time. Okay? Let's see. Name, class. This would be Algebra 1B. Okay, and then your project name, you can just call this your iPad project. Okay? Now, if you want to do this actually on this, like the iPad right now, that's fine. It won't necessarily save, but just so you have an idea of how you do it. Then when I get to the next slide, I'm talking about product of towers. So I might even just write that up. Product of towers. Okay, and then I might This says state and explain the exponent rule and show and simplify two examples. So I might have the rule. If you guys remember, I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, we had the sheet with all the exponent rules. There was like the product of powers, the quotient of powers, exponents with a 0 exponent or to the 1 power. Does that sound familiar to anybody that was here? You guys could use that as a good resource. Okay. So you would have the rule. No, I cannot spell. So the rule. So what would be the product of powers? So you can even find it, I think it was like a to the m times a to the m power. If I have something with, okay, I'm in class right now, I'm recording your, yeah. I could put this rule here. What is this going to equal on the other side? Anybody know? What do I do with the exponents here? You add them. Good. Okay. Now then I might have two examples. Like I might have example number 1, and then maybe I do it's a 3 to the 2nd power times 3 to the 3rd power. Okay? I'm going to leave it like that. I'm not going to actually do the problem. I'm just going to get the example set up here. Okay? Because once we have our whole PowerPoint, our whole presentation set up, then I'm going to go back to the very first page, hit record, and then I will talk what I want to talk about, and then I will write out what I want to write. Okay? So I might have everything set up, though, so I don't have to make my video like 20 minutes long because I had to do all the writing. I can make it 5 to 10 minutes. Okay? It depends on how long. Every part's a little bit different. And then maybe another one is x to the 4th power times x cubed. Okay? And then I would want to do that for all of these and have them all set up. And then when I'm ready, so I would encourage you guys, write out what you'd like to do on paper maybe first. Because you guys, if you don't have an iPad, you probably want to come in and borrow an iPad from the testing center. And you don't want to have too much time. Because the drawback is that if you don't sign in and save your thing, if somebody else comes, they cannot record a new project with somebody else's like draft still there. So if they want to record it, they're gonna have to delete your unfinished like project to be able to record there. So I would recommend that you come in pretty much ready to go. You already know what you're gonna write down. Maybe even have like a script of things you're going to talk about, or maybe bullet points for the things you want to do. Maybe you have the problems worked out on the side, so you're still explaining it to me, but you're not like, what was I supposed to do here? You don't look like you're not sure. Okay. Anyhow, when I am ready to start, over here where there's that little microphone button, I'm going to click it. And then I'll maybe pick a different color. And then I would just go through as if it was just a project, like I was making a math. So I'd say, hey, this is Mr. Tate. I'm in Algebra 1B. This is my iPad project, or maybe this is my quarter 3 iPad project. Okay? And I'll go to the next one. The very first thing I want to talk to you about is the product of powers rule for exponents. I have this rule written down. If I have a to the m times a to the n, maybe you guys are talking about like, in this case, the a's, they are bases, okay? The m and the n, they are two different exponents. They could be the same. But the fact that I have the same base and they're being multiplied together, I'm going to take their exponents and add them up. Okay, so that's where this rule is. Okay, I have a couple examples I'll show you real quick. Here I notice that I've got my base is 3. So it's the same base, they're being multiplied and they have exponents. So what I will do is I'll use the same base and I'm going to add their exponents together. I get 3 to the 5th. And then I might just calculate real quick. 3 to the 5th power is this semi-big number. 27, 81 times 3. 183. That might be off. Okay, then I'll go to the next one. Okay, so then the next one I'll do is Again, I have something with the same base. In this case, the bases are x. Their exponents are 4 and 3, and the key part is that they are being multiplied together. So I'm just going to add up their exponents, and I get x to the 7th power. Okay, that's the first rule. I'll go into the next one. So I'm doing something like that. When I am done, I will pause it. If I'd like to go back and watch it, I can. Okay, I will let you know that there's not a lot of editing on this. Okay, so you may want to go slide by slide and then just double check, because if you record all 9 slides and you realize that slide number 4 was like completely messed up, well, you will have to delete all the way back and start from slide 4 if you really wanted to. So if you really, I mean, that's why it's good to have a rough draft so you're ready to go with that. If not, it's not as nice as like some of the stuff on the iPad or your computer can probably do. Yeah.
You can't like download this app on your phone like you can on your phone.
I believe you can on your phone. You can download this, download, and I'll show you after this. You can do this on the computer, like you can go to the website educreations.com. The only thing is that you don't have all the same functions, and it's a little bit tougher because you're probably going to have to be using your mouse or you're using your laptop and you're trying to like click and you're trying to draw or write, and it looks like really sloppy sometimes. I don't know if you ever do like an electronic signature for anything, and you look at it and it looks like it doesn't look like your signature at all. So it is nice if you can do the iPad, because then at the very least using your finger is a little bit easier to write with. The only thing about these is they have these like the protective case that they have has this protective like, film, and it makes it harder to write on. So we do have the little stylus that you can use, or there's some of those KMA pens with the rubber tip. Some students like to use those. It doesn't work as nicely as this, because like here I have nothing on the screen. So if it breaks, it kind of stays alive. It's a little bit easier to write on. Okay, but there are different ways. I've had some students where they literally record themselves at a whiteboard and then they do it that way. Okay. Just if you're not sure if it's okay, you can just ask me. Okay. Also, I would recommend you can get your rough draft checked off by me if you want to make sure that it looks okay. Okay. When you do feel good, you can come in and say, "Hey, Mr. Tate, can I check out an iPad? If you'd like to work outside because it's less busy or a little more quiet, you can. I'll write you a pass and I'll just say, okay, so and so has a pass for 30 minutes to come to work on their iPad project. Okay. If you go longer, then just come back and check in with me. Okay, that way Jim or nobody out there can give you any problems. Okay? Anyhow, I can go back from the very beginning, and then it'll just be like I recorded what we talked about. Okay, so I will skip forward, and it records the stuff that you were writing during the presentation.
In this case, the
Okay,
A's, they
if you
are
guys do not record the actual demonstration part, then you guys do lose a lot of points. It could be up to half your points that you're
same.
right?
But the fact that I have
This is worth 100 points out of 1,000. That's 10% of your grade. So for a lot of students, it's very almost close to how much a test is worth. Okay, so it isn't a nice, easy way to get those points, because you can go in and do you know exactly what to do. You can come and get help from me if you need it to get those 100 points. All right. Are there questions about doing it for this part? Here. Okay. When I'm done, I'm gonna click at the very top. There's this like little arrow with a box. Okay, like I don't know, it's like going out the door or you're leaving, whatever it might be. I'm gonna click that. It's gonna ask you a few different options that you want. I either want to save this draft, which basically means I'm not done, but I'm gonna leave the iPad for now. Hopefully nobody else comes and deletes my work, okay, because otherwise I'll have to start from the beginning. Or I can hit save finish video, or if you just want to completely delete it, you can delete it. Okay? Let's say I wanted to save it as a finished video. You're going to title it. So let's say title this iPad project project Algebra 1B. Maybe your name's actually in it instead. Okay, and then you can put anything else in here. Let's see if I can just save it. All right, when you guys do it on your iPad, it'll be slightly different because you need to log in to save your videos. Okay, so unless you've already done, unless you've already used the EduCreations before, you might not have an app. You might not have an account already. You just create a free account. Okay, there's no class code like there is for Remind. You just sign up, you skip the class part, and you just use whatever email you want. You can use your school email, you can use your Gmail, you can use your, I don't know if people have Yahoo or whatever they might have. Okay, and then you can save it that way. The important thing is you need to make sure that it's public. Okay, if you do it as private, when you send a video to me, I won't be able to watch it because it'll say it's private. I don't have permission to watch it. So make sure it's public. It's not like YouTube. Like if you're really worried about someone watching your video, they would literally have to type your name on this website and find your video that way. Okay, that's really what they want to do. They must not have better things to do, I guess. And one extra thing. So when you guys are ready
And
to upload this to me, you want to get the link. So there are a few different ways. If you save it to the website or you log in on the website, you can get the link. Or I can copy the link and then send that to me on Remind. Okay? You just want to double check, like when you send it to me, just click on the link to make sure that there wasn't an error. Sometimes students they have to type out the address, and there's like a bunch of random letters and numbers, so it's very easy to mess that up. Okay? This is technically due Friday, but if you get it into me by next week, I won't give you a late penalty. After next week, then it does go down in points. But this should be hopefully helpful review for the test that's coming up next week. Okay. I'm sure questions will come up as you're going through it, so if they do, you can just ask me. Is there any questions right now that you guys could think of? Okay. Was there, Shaggy, did you use EduCreations when you did it, or did you use a different app to do the project? Okay. Is there any helpful tips or anything that was kind of confusing that might be helpful for other people to know when they're going to be doing this?
I just wrote a script, like a literal script of every word I was going to say.
Okay.
So
That could be helpful. You might want to do that. You might not want to, because I'm sure it took a little bit of time to kind of prep it, right? I can show you the project. So. All right. So if you guys do have questions that come up about that, just let me know. Okay. But right now, I would like to go into. I'll give this back to you. And you guys use this as a rubric. You guys can see each slide is worth a few different points, or between 5 to 25 points. Okay. If you're not sure about something, come in and get help. And ideally, you'd be doing this project before you take your test because you probably would help you to know this information for the test anyways. Okay. All right. Let's go to the review then. I think that I uploaded this. Let's see. Oh, I don't think that's the right one. Let me find it real quick, guys. Go ahead and start doing some of the problems on your own if you haven't started already. Try to do some of the ones that you can, and skip the ones that you're not sure about.